Welcome everyone to your weekly pick a card reading for Monday the 10th to Sunday the 16th of October, or for whenever you come across these messages, as these messages from Spirit are timeless. I want to thank you again so much for joining me, or welcome if you've just found my channel. I hope that these messages help you along your journey. Let's get started. Okay everyone, we have pole number 1, pole number 2, pole number 3 and pole number 4. We have the tiger's eye for pole number 1, we have the turquoise for pole number 2, we have the rose quartz for pole number 3, and we have the carnelian for pole number 4. So there will be timestamps below everyone. Pick a pole that draws you, a pole number that calls to you, or a crystal that you feel drawn to or that you like. If you are drawn to more than one pile, that's not a problem at all. Select as many as you need. There'll be a message in there for you. Let's get started with the readings. Welcome pole number 1. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. We have the Emperor, the 6 of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles. Very nice. We have Connection. We have Buffalo Spirit. And we have Make It Gods. Hang on, let me just move that up a bit so I've got space. Beautiful pole number 1. Okay, so the first card is the heart chakra, and it says connection. Father Divine and Mother Earth make love in your heart. I was going to say I like the idea of this. That's not really the right way to say it. I love what this implies. When we are connected both through our crown chakra and through our root chakra by grounding ourselves, so we ground ourselves into Mother Earth and we connect to the all that is, Spirit, God, universe. That alignment, or those connections, bring us into alignment. And I feel for you, pole number 1, I feel this alignment is of real importance. I don't know if it's for you to understand something, for you to embrace something. And I'm looking at this, make it Gods. Now we'll read what it says in a moment, but make it Gods. I'm just kind of called that give your problems to God. Give your hopes and wishes to God. There's a certain energy of trust here. Look at the Buffalo Spirit. It says the abundant universe will provide. Oh, we've got Pentacles, we've got the Emperor. It's your personal power. It's stepping into your power. And I find in this particular card, the way he holds the sword upright, I just feel that's alignment. That's you being aligned with a goal. That's you being connected so above as below. Now, this connection also is when we are grounded in reality, but we are also inspired by our dreams and our goals and our soul. We can make things happen, or we can allow, we're in a position to allow things to happen. It also connects us to others. This is a way of us opening up to possibilities, opening up to others. And where we might initially see a stranger or an acquaintance, all it takes is a conversation, a moment, and then that person becomes much more meaningful. I just got the word family that just came to me. And this can be also pole number 1, the people that you know very well. What is your connection like with them? Have you drifted apart? Are you, because sometimes we can be very close to people, but we never talk about things that are deep inside us, things that are really authentic to us. We talk superficially about the weather and what happened at work today and all that kind of thing, but that's very surface conversations, and sometimes we never delve deeper, and therefore our connections don't, I want to say, have any meat to them. They also become superficial because the conversations that we have with those around us never skim further than the surface. So maybe pole number 1, you're being drawn to look at how you interact with others. But first and foremost in this reading, I think it's the connection to Mother Earth and to Spirit. You have Buffalo Spirit, and it says the abundant universe will provide. And I'm really drawn to the 10. Because you've got the Ace of Pentacles here, which is a new opportunity, a new possibility, a new start. A 1 is all about the new beginnings, or a change in direction. But it's new information coming in that allows us to do something different, to go in a different direction. And I feel that, with this connection, make it God's and the Buffalo Spirit, there's a real message here of trusting what you can't see. Do you feel that the universe is abundant? Do you feel that you will be provided for? Do you feel connected? Or do you feel that you're in this alone? Buffalo Spirit saying, trust, believe. There's the heart chakra. Open your heart. And sometimes I feel, pole number 1, that these messages come to us when we've lost a little bit of hope and we're not in the energy of trusting and believing. And so sometimes Spirit asks us to just try to reconnect. And it can be something so simple. And I'm not saying test the universe, not at all, but I'm saying put your trust in something little, and I'm not talking trust in another person here, I'm talking about trust in the universe, and see where it guides you. Just for a day, try not to force anything, try not to push anything. Try to just be in that space of being. You still will have to get up and go to work, you still have to cook meals, you still have to, do the day-to-day life things that we have to do. But rather than rushing, rather than pushing energy out into the world, can you do those things mindfully, but also just be open to bigger things out there? I hope that makes sense, pole number 1. As we go further down, I'm sure Spirit will give me more messages to make that a little bit clearer. But it's embracing this, almost giving up control of trying to make things happen, or believe it's if you don't do everything, nothing will get done. It's kind of that energy, but not in regards to others, in regards to the bigger picture of life. Your next card says, make it God's. Release the idea of my. As soon as you start to say the money, the relationship, the job, freedom arrives. When there is no grasping, the right actions get shown. Free me from the prison of my, dear Lord. I remember reading, I'm sure this is in a book, but I apologize, I can't remember which one, but there was this idea of ownership, and it felt very much like we say something that's ours, which has a lot of implications to it, because then that means that we own it, we have to look after it, we have to protect it, we have to safeguard it. Somebody can take it from us. It can be lost. It can leave. It can be removed. And it makes us very attached to things. And it really makes us forget. Now, this is something that, I'm talking about this like I've grasped this, but not at all. This is something that is really difficult to do, because I think from, young, we learnt to say, well, that's my toy, that's my food, that's my room. And we learnt to take ownership of things, and then we decided if we wanted to share. We decided what happened to that thing. This card is saying that then can bring up a lot of hurt, really. It keeps us bound to our things because we're always trying to protect them. And I remember in this book, it explained that if we could just see ourselves as caretakers of something, then our whole thought on it shifts. It doesn't become ours. It's just there for the time being. So if we look at a job and it's like, I am the caretaker of this job for now, it doesn't make it forever. It doesn't make it an attachment where we are then, I want to say, chained to it. When we just view that that job will be with me as long as it's required, if we get fired, it's not so heart-wrenching as when we see the job as ours. when we make that attachment, it's harder to let go. Whereas if we don't make the attachment in the first place, there is freedom in that, because we can let things go. It's the same. This might be an easier way to explain it, pole number one. When we have children, we say they're my children. And of course, there's a logic in that. I'm not saying that that's not real. Of course it is. But when you view them as yours, and I'm not talking about young children, let's now take them to they've grown up. If you still see them as yours, you still feel responsible for them. When they leave home, it's more heart-wrenching, because it's like something has been taken, something that you own has been taken away from you. And if we can see our children as individuals, and yes, we are responsible for them, when they're very young, but then afterwards they are people in their own right. We don't own them. They're not ours. They are of themselves, aren't they? They're an individual. Nobody owns them. I hope there's some clarity in that for you, pole number one. I'm sure that each of you will take messages away from that as you need to. So then we have the Six of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. Now with these three oracle cards, I really feel there's going to be a sense. Now, sixes are very much about bringing in balance, and the Six of Pentacles is no different. Is even holding the scales. And I feel when you see the abundant universe, it always provides. So when something's taken away, something is given. And if we don't get attached to things, which is what this card is saying, then we let them go. And the quicker we let things go, it's not to say, oh, I couldn't care less. It's not an attitude of indifference either. It's an attitude of understanding that things come and things go. Nothing is stagnant in the world. Nothing is a constant. Everything is in an energy of flux, of change. And I feel that's your reading. There's change. There's change in the air. A 10 is an ending in tarot, but a 10 in numerology is the beginning. And between the ending and the beginning, there's change. There'll be aspects of yourself that you need to give up, pole number one. And there will be aspects that you need to embrace. And I feel that's in a very personal way to you, but also in a larger sense in your life. The more, pole number one, you can be grounded. So here, really focusing on your root chakra, your crown chakra, and then your heart chakra. But I believe if you ground your root chakra, you connect to the universe with your crown chakra, your heart chakra will automatically balance. There will just be a balance that comes into play. And I think that's because there's things in flux. There's things coming in and other things going out in order for things to come in. And this is what's coming in for you, pole number one, a new beginning. The Ace of Pentacles. This is a gift from the universe. This is something tangible. Your pentacles are what is tangible in the world. They are resources. They are people. They are concrete opportunities that come to you. So they're not like ideas. They're not like epiphanies or clarity like the swords, or a new driving passion like the wands, or new emotions that lead you somewhere like the cups. This is something concrete. There is an offer that is made to you in this real world. Now Spirit is saying the energy of the Emperor will be required of you. And I think that's why this balancing is going to be of so much importance, because it's easier for us to step into our power when we are balanced. When we are not grounded, we're flighty. We find it hard to base our dreams in reality. When we're too grounded and we're not connected through our upper chakras, then we can find ourselves too stodgy, too lost in detail sometimes. Now the Emperor card says, logic and organization will increase your success. Take charge of the situation. Accept a leadership role, structure and discipline. And this is, the Emperor is a leader. It's also Aries energy. You know, and Aries is the first star sign. They're the ones that just forge ahead. You can really kind of liken it to the pioneering spirit, can't you? It's not that they're not scared, but they're happy to go into the unknown. Because they're drawn by the new. You know, it's almost like they're the number one. They're drawn to new experiences, to new things. And I feel that's where you're being led. Definitely to a new understanding, but there's a new opportunity in your life, pole number 1, that in some way, shape or form is requiring you to step up, to embrace your personal power, your inner light, and to move forward in some way. And I even just felt drawn to say, this opportunity might be something big, pole number 1. It might be like more money. It might be a real job opportunity. There's nothing that says love here, but apply this to your life. It could be a new relationship coming in. It can be a new house. It can be something really tangible in this world. But I really feel that the less you can think of it as this is mine, I think the easier it'll come. Such a different message for you, pole number 1. So interesting. I'm going to leave you with that. Love and light, my friends. Thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 2. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you. So we have change. We have the Bat Spirit with the number 5, which is all about change. We have the only illusion is separation. That's interesting. We have the Emperor. Now, if you were drawn at all to pole number 1, they also had the Emperor. So maybe have a look at that. We have the Queen of Wands and the Star. I just got this sudden, pole number 2, you're going to be seen. You're going to be seen. I don't know in what way, in what capacity. It'll be different for all of you. But suddenly I just get the feeling that the spotlight is going to be on you. Okay, let's have a look. So we have chakra balance. So that's all the chakras here. And it says the only illusion is separation. And it was funny because, like I said earlier, if you're drawn to pole number 1, go have a look, because they had I can't remember word for word, but they had they had connection, that's it. And it was connecting with the universe and connecting with Mother Earth and being grounded in both. So that's very interesting messages. And they also had the Emperor, which was really interesting. Now, for some reason, pole number 2, I feel this separation is going to be important to you. Now you've got 2 cards of change and massive change. You've got the change card and you've got the bat spirit, and it says a rebirth is assured, and you've got the number 5. Now a rebirth is when we are first born, when we are born into this world, when we embrace our human body. And our second birth is when we embrace our soul and our soul's journey. And pole number 2, that's what I think, that's what I don't think, that's what I'm being called to say to you. This is a second birth. And there is going to be a lot of change, a lot of change. And I feel with this chakra oracle card, it says chakra balance. The more balanced you can be, I think that the more smooth sailing this will be for you. I also feel for you, pole number 2, there will be moments where you'll be alone. When we start our journey of our soul, it's a journey that only we can walk. And it doesn't mean that everybody in our life falls away and we become alone. But often people do fall away. Things fall away. And I think Spirit with this card is really asking you to remember that even if you are physically alone, you are never alone. You're never separate from Spirit. You're always connected. And when we're connected to Spirit, we're connected to all that is. So we're connected to each other. And this is sometimes hard to remember, pole number 2, when we feel alone. And I feel that sometimes when we are doing our soul's journey, we do feel alone. And that can create a burden sometimes, because we feel that. I think the best way to explain is sometimes we feel unsupported. And I think the majority of the time it's because others don't understand our soul journey. And our second birth changes us. Once we go through the transformation, once we embrace it and go with it, we really are not the same person that we were before. And that can be hard on relationships. That can be hard on our day-to-day life. That can be hard in how it plays out in the world. But pole number 2, if I can just say from my own experience, this is the most, it's challenging, but this is the most beautiful path. And yes, I will not lie and say it's going to be a breeze. It's not. But there is still something incredibly magical about it. Now this 5, this change, the more you can embrace change, the more you can let go of trying to control everything. The more you can stand in your power and follow the passions of your heart. You'll have, when we follow our soul path, we suddenly have a drive that can't be explained, and it cannot be ignored. And some of you may be like, this rebirth, you've already been going through it, and I feel this is going to be the almost the phase of bringing you to the other side of that birth. So I do believe, pole number 2, that things have already started to change, and maybe you haven't really understood why. Spirit saying this is why. Your soul has awoken you. It has called you, and you've heard it. Pole number 2, you've heard it. This is not you waking up to your soul. This is you've heard it. So if you're suddenly been getting these strange ideas of where to live, or how to change your life, or suddenly you just look at people and think, oh, we don't fit anymore, we don't connect anymore, there's something missing, or there's something out of balance, there's something odd here. That's it. You know, we can experience great fatigue, we can be unwell, all these things. It's just, we're changing. We are changing. Oh, pole number 2, this is you changing. And then you have the change card, and it says, don't scare yourself with the next 40 steps. All you need is that one next action. You can say to love, just show me the first step and change me into one who can take it. This has to be my most favorite. This became an affirmation for me as I was going through my second birth. I stumbled across this card one day, it popped out, and I ended up writing this as like, I put it on my desktop background on my computer, so I saw it every single day. And I love it. Just show me the first step and change me into one who can take it. This says, give me courage. Let me go in the direction that I'm being called. Help me to release control. And pole number 2, you don't have to have it all figured out. Not at all. Sometimes the next action you need to take is just to say yes. I found on mine, I had no clue. And it felt really out of my depth. I felt out of my depth. I felt really lost. And I remember just saying, okay, me, the human me, the physical and the intellect, my mind, my ego me, doesn't understand this. So I'm going to hand it over. Every time I get a hunch, every time I feel drawn to something, rather than question it and pull it apart, I'm going to take action if I can, or I'm just going to say yes to it. Okay, let's do this notion that's popped into my head. Show me the how, show me the where, show me what physical action I can take. And look at these energies. Pole number 2, you've got the Emperor and the Queen of Wands. Now the Emperor embodies all the kings of the Tarot. He sits in his power. He is grounded in his power. He's not a dictator. He doesn't use his power to control. He hasn't gained his power from being above others. His power comes from within him. He's got his armor on underneath his cloaks. He can I was going to say defend himself or fight, but I don't feel like that's the right word. He can stand up for himself when he needs to. He will fight for his beliefs. He will stand by his beliefs, because he doesn't fight for them, because when we fight for them, that means we're in opposition with somebody. So that means we're trying to put our views and opinions onto others. So that's not what he does, but he will make sure he moves forward on his notions. The Queen of Wands embraces her passions. She knows what drives her, and she allows it. She knows how to receive what she needs in order to pursue her dreams, her goals, her vision, her passions. The wands for me are very linked with the soul, your soul journey. They're very much those wishes and hopes, and very much your passion, very soul driven. And the Queen is a receptive energy. She knows how to receive. So pole number 2, you're stepping into your power. You're understanding your worth. You're seeing your value. And that's going to guide you to receive what you need in order to move forward on your path. And this is where I find that you're going to be seen. Now, the Star is a card of healing. But for me also, I see it as, being a star. Star, you can see a star, it lights up. It's bright in the sky, you can see it. And we wish upon a star, don't we? And we call famous people stars, movie stars. And I feel that stepping into your power and understanding exactly what drives you, what moves you forward, embracing this change, not only in the physical world, but also internally. People are noticing the change. People are seeing it. And therefore you're going to have different opportunities that come your way. This is how things change. This is how, in the wheel it turns because we change. So therefore the wheel turns because it needs to bring us different things. Now the Star card says, have faith, the future is bright. Dreams come true. Positive changes that bring an end to challenging times. The light at the end of the tunnel. And I love that. The light at the end of the tunnel, and you've got a rebirth is assured. That's just almost like, the canal, the birth canal, you're coming out of that tunnel where you couldn't really see, you couldn't really understand. But when you are reborn and when you're on the other side of the tunnel, you can see. And that's when things really start to shift. They really start to move. You really get a sense of this energy of the Queen of Wands, of really understanding your soul and how it drives you. And that's not to say that suddenly you're at the other end of the tunnel and then that's it, it all happens, bam. I mean, for some people it does, but for the majority of us, it's slow. It's a change comes to us maybe constantly, but it gives us time to understand it, to grow from it, to gain wisdom from it, to really understand how it ties in with our personal inner light, our inner strength. Your soul, and our soul is always guiding us to something magical. And I feel with this energy, the star and the emperor, the major arcana, it's the universe guiding you. But it's also a sense of real empowerment, real, when we do what our soul is calling us to do, there is energy that comes from outside of us. It comes from inside of us as well, but it's this connection that we have that fuels us. And it ignites something in us that even through the challenging times, even through the unknown and the fears that can bring up, it helps us to keep moving forward. Oh my gosh, pole number 2, such a special message. I wish you so much love and light, my friends. Embrace this with all your heart. Just go for it. Thank you so much again for joining me, my friends. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Okay, pole number 3, let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you. We have Justice, beautiful, the Empress, the 9 of Wands. We have Meditation in the Crown Chakra. We have Bee Spirit, sweet results await. And we have Service. Wow. Beautiful pole number 3. So we start off the reading with meditation, and the card says, to see more clearly, close your eyes. And it's the crown chakra. And our eyes often trick us, don't they, like our mind does. And this is the sense, pole number 3, of relying on what we can't see. Relying on what is not tangible to move us forward, to help us understand. Now this can be meditate, but it can also just be find time. I'm also getting a sense of listen to what people say, but let it sink further into you. Don't allow your mind to take it and transform it to how your mind sees what they're saying. There's a sense here, pole number 3, of cutting through the illusion by going deeper. It's almost that energy of changing your perception of things, changing your perspective. Are you too close to a situation, and do you need to zoom out and get a different view? I'm also being told, change your opinion on something. That's interesting. Change your opinion on something. Now, for some of you, that can be someone. And Bee Spirit says, sweet results await. And look at this 7. The 7 is our spirituality. It's our intuition. It's our wisdom. It's the number of letting go and letting God, or letting the universe. And I'm wondering if what this is as well, to see more clearly, close your eyes, let go of control. That's very much let go and let God. Good results are coming, but I feel like it's through your hard work, because bees are hardworking. But I feel like it's just through what you're doing, if you're not trying to control it all. Do what you're doing. Don't stop. Because it's almost like you're on the right path. But if you're holding on tightly, if you feel that you're not flowing, you're not I just got, if you're not in a energy of receiving, it just won't come about, is basically what I'm being told. Sorry, I was trying to find a nice way to say that, pole number 3, but I apologize, it just won't come about. So there is something that I want to say you've got your hooks in. And this is something that you've been working towards. You need to release control. It doesn't mean not work at it anymore, or just go sit in a corner and do nothing. Not that energy at all, pole number 3. It's not that you're on the wrong path, or it's not that there's anything wrong. For some reason, Spirit is saying here, there is attachment, and there is a real sense of trying to control the situation. And that, my friends, will be your undoing. Because your actions have pushed something out into the world. And Bee Spirit is saying, now be receptive, because the results are coming back to you. But if you're still pushing, if you're still got tight control on, just got to keep, you won't be in that receiving energy. Keep moving forward, pole number 3, but let go of outcome. Thank you, Spirit. That's what I was trying to say in a nutshell. I just took the long way around, as we often do, don't we? That is a big message for you, pole number 3. And then you have surface. And it says, you stop using the universe to try to get what you want, and you start asking love to use you. You offer all and want to be of service. Ironically, many desires become fulfilled without grasping or manipulation. Oh my goodness. That's exactly what we just talked about. Exactly what we just talked about. There is a sense of grasping. There is a sense of trying to control the outcome. And we do this, sometimes we find ourselves bargaining with the universe. We find ourselves I guess, like the card says, instead of offering ourselves up for service, we try to see, well, what's out there for me, before we say, well, what can I do for what's out there? And it's not to say, pole number 3, that the path is not right. And I say right because, you know, there's no real right or wrong, but you know what I mean. It's not like, you know, don't give up. Don't allow this message to make you give up. But there's a sense that relinquishing of control, that of outcome, of how it should look and how it should be. Because look at the tarot cards that we have. We've got the Nine of Wands and we've got the Empress. Now, these energies are very different. This is the wounded warrior. This is you. It's actually, it can, well, like all cards, they can have the positive and the negative attached to them. And it can be you striving no matter what. You holding on to your dream and moving forward no matter what. But in this reading, with the energies that we have and the Justice here, and then these two, I feel like you're still standing there, you're exhausted, you're holding on, you're limping and battered and you're tired. And I just gritted my teeth just with sheer determination. And Spirit saying, let go, pole number 3. Embrace the energy of the Empress. She is abundant. She knows that when she needs something, it will manifest. She's like the goddess of the harvest. She knows that it takes work. We always apply effort, but it's not to our detriment. It's not to the point where we make ourselves sick. It's not to the point where we self-sacrifice ourselves for our goal or for what we're trying to do. She's never in that energy. She would never do that. This is also an energy of these sweet results await. I feel there is something coming for you, pole number 3. You've got justice. You've done the hard work. Now reap the rewards. But it's almost like you can't see it, pole number 3. And I wonder, sometimes we don't see it because it hasn't come in like we thought. Sometimes we can get the complete opposite than what we've been striving for. You know, we can be working so hard in a job to get a promotion and we end up getting fired. We can be working so hard in a relationship and to make it better and move it to the next stage, and it falls apart. You know, there are so many instances that come about like that. You know, we can be striving so much for a new house that we want, and, you know, we're doing the paperwork and we're giving, you know, showing that we have the money, we're striving to really put the best offer in, and then suddenly out of the blue we lose the house. It goes to somebody else. And I'm wondering if you're in that stage, pole number 3, where something that you've been striving for, you've been holding on to, either hasn't worked out or looks like it's not going to work out, and you are holding on for dear life. You are no, I'm not giving up. I'm not. And in this instance, Spirit saying, pole number 3, let go. There's something else coming in. There's something else coming in. Now the Justice card says, be impartial and objective. Stand up for what you believe. Try to see all sides of a situation. You will win if your position is one of integrity. And I feel it's so linked with this one. It's to see more clearly, close your eyes. Give up the notion of judgment. You've done, I feel in this instant pole number 3, you've done all you can do. And now the universe, you know, this is minor arcana, this is you doing your bit. This is major arcana, this is the universe doing its bit. Remember, we co-create, my friends. We co-create with spirit, and the tarot brings us that in the 2 different sets, in the minor and the major arcana. And there is a balance of giving and taking. There's a balance of the energy you've expended to what you're going to get back. But there's a sense of letting go that is required. It's almost like, you know, in justice in a court, you know, we give the judge and the jury all the information, and then it's out of your hands, isn't it? And that's that energy that I feel for you, pole number 3. It's like you've done everything you could. Now it's out of your hands. But embrace that. And there might be a time where you might feel that you're not moving forward. There's a bit of a period of stagnation. And we can take that energy in that sense when the energy is just asking us to pause, slow down. There's no more pushing you need to do. There's receiving. Be open to it. Embrace that feminine energy of receiving, and it doesn't matter if you're male or female, it's an energy. Something wants to come to you, pole number 3, but I feel this striving is keeping it at bay. It's almost like justice is kind of saying, well, when you stop, I'll be able to get to my bit. And that's what's coming in for you, the Empress, the abundance, the harvest of what you've been doing. And this can be, for some of you, because we're all on different stages of our journey, for some of you, you might be at the very beginning of something where you've just said, yes, I'm going to start something new. I've got this new idea. I'm going to put it into motion. And maybe you're so stuck on that, like, oh, I don't know. What am I doing? How do I do it? Justice has an answer for you. Has the first step that you can take. Maybe you're going to be receiving some information, or maybe there's somebody coming into your life that can actually help you, that can guide you. Maybe it's money or resources coming into your life, but you need to step back. You need to allow it. Release control, pole number 3. If there's a message I can give you, is slow down, release control, and really look at things from another perspective. Yeah, I love this bit. Ironically, many desires become fulfilled without grasping or manipulation. And that's when we change our perspective from what is this situation going to give me to what can I give to this situation. But there is also that sense of, I mean, this is an energy of you receiving. So maybe you're the one saying, here, have this, have that, I'm giving. Well, now it needs to be turned around the other way, and now you need to receive. I'm going to leave you with those messages, pole number 3. Thank you so much for joining me. Love and light, my friends. See you next time. Bye-bye. Okay, pole number 4. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you. We have feelings. We have Bobcat Spirit. Life is a mystery, isn't it just? We have embrace the balance between earth and spirit. Very similar message to pole number 1. If you were drawn to pole number 1, go have a look at it. We have the 5 of Swords. We have the Wheel of Fortune. And we have Strength. Beautiful energies. Gosh, there's this real Spirit this week is really asking us to really embrace the connection between reality and spirituality, and a sense of releasing control and allowing things to unfold in their own timing. They've been really beautiful messages. Your first card, pole number 4, is the chakra balance, and it says embrace the balance between earth and spirit. And that's, we're not all one or the other. And it's funny because we can, when we embrace our spirituality, we can often forget about our body and the reality in which we live in. And before we embrace our spirituality, we can be all about the body and the material part of this world. And so there's a real balance that needs to come from both, because we need both. We're an organic, human being that lives in this reality, but we're also a soul that is connected to the all. And it's when we align the two together and that real magic can happen. So let's have a look at what the other cards bring us. You've got Bobcat Spirit, and it says life is a mystery. And you've got the number 8, and the 8 is all about your personal power. And I think, again, if you're drawn to pole number 1, they got the Emperor, which is all. It embraces the 8. It's all about your personal power. Pole number 2 also got the Emperor. And we're being called to sit with our personal power, to understand our worth. And Bobcat Spirit says life is a mystery. And it is. We only really understand it when we look back. Like the Osher from the Pathless Path. He mentions that we are on a pathless path. There is no path before us. We are making the path. So with every step we take, we are forging a new path. But you can only see that path when you look backwards. And I'm getting that image very strongly of the pathless path. And that can bring up so many fears in us, because it takes a real level of trust to move forward when there is nothing tangible guiding you. You're being guided by your soul. You're being guided by your intuition. And we often don't trust it. You're being guided by spirit. But again, we often don't trust it. We can discount it as our imaginations. as our imagination, and therefore we don't move forward with it. We limit ourselves. We wait for something really structured to come our way to show us this is the way. And sometimes that it doesn't come that way. We first have to trust and take that step forward, and then sometimes there's a sense of, oh, I understand, and then we can take a few more steps, sometimes fairly quickly. But it takes trust. Your next card is feelings. Emotions want to be felt. You really can't surrender something until you deeply feel it. Allow me, dear Divine, to offer all emotions to you, feeling them fully so they no longer hold me captive. This is not easy, because this is often a painful experience, to sit with our emotions, allow them to come up without drowning in them, without allowing ourselves to kind of get drawn into the experiences that caused those emotions in the first place. There's nothing we need to do with these emotions except for just allow them to surface, just sit with them. Try not to run with them. And it's not easy to do, but if we can manage it, and little by little, sometimes these emotions, when we allow them to surface, they're difficult. So sometimes we need to almost snap ourselves out of it for a bit, and then we'll come back to it another time. And little by little we allow it to come up, and then we can, it's not even that we release it, but just by allowing it to come up, acknowledging that it's there and it's part of you, that's what releases it. You don't actually have to say anything to it, or there'll be a level of understanding often that comes with it, a level of acceptance, and then it can shift. There's a sense, pole number 4, of a real shift in you. A sense of really embracing this mystery of life. And when we say mystery of life, it's everything that we feel. We might acknowledge because of our beliefs, but nothing's concrete. It's not tangible in any way. And I feel for your pole number 4, this real transformation deep inside of you that is going to make you see yourself and the world in a real different light. Now you've got the bobcat spirit with the 8, and I explained the 8 is all about your personal power. Strength is all about your inner power as well. The lion is a symbol of power. The lion understands his power. He doesn't need to show it. It's just a given. It's a known. It's his presence. It's his belief in himself. That's what does it. And I love the tarot because the 5 of Swords is often the card of pick your battles. almost like you're in a no-win situation. So you might win the argument, but you'll lose friends, or you might win whatever, but there'll be a loss involved with it. And I find the Five of Swords to me is very ego-driven. It's we're defending our beliefs or imposing them on others. We're trying to be right. And I feel for you, pole number 4, either a situation like this has happened for you and you've really internalized, you can really feel what that's caused, you can really, it's just really opened your mind to what, you can see it for what it is and the part that you played in it. There may be forgiveness that you need to give yourself, pole number 4, forgiveness for yourself, and forgiveness maybe for others as well. Now, if you haven't just gone through something like this, I feel it's going to be more on an internal level for you, pole number 4, where you just see how, gee, I argue to be right a lot. I argue to get my point of view across. I'm always giving my opinion. I'm always maybe even striving to help, but in what's the word I'm trying to find? You give because you think you know best, but you don't allow for the possibility of the other person's journey or the other person's understanding or where they're at in their life. That's not to say that you're wrong, pole number 4, or that your insight wouldn't be beneficial, but we have to understand that often others, they can't see it, they can't understand it if that's not where they are. And I feel this understanding on whatever level it is for you, pole number 4, it's going to make things change. It's going to make you understand something on a much deeper level. And the Wheel of Fortune is that wheel turning, things realigning. And I feel that you have made this turn, pole number 4. So the minor arcana is what we do to make things happen in our world, and the major arcana is how the universe helps us. So we're always in co-creation. And it says embrace the balance between earth and spirit. And I'm seeing that with these 2 cards as embrace the balance between giving and doing, being and doing. Embrace between the co-creativeness of everything, how you do your bit, now allow the universe to do its bit. And I feel you've changed something, you're coming to a realization that is actually going to flow out into your world and change situations in your life, pole number 4. And the universe is turning this wheel to align your life with who you have become, who you are becoming, what you now see, what you now understand. And I love how you have 5 and a 10, and it's the ending, but the 5 is all about the change. Changes that come because of endings, endings that come because you've changed. And then we have strength, and the card says personal power and assertiveness portrayed with kindness, compassion that brings about forgiveness, realizing that you are stronger than you knew. That's this personal power of the 8. There are things changing, and you can feel it. Pole number 4, I'm sure you can feel it, and it's going to take strength, it's going to take courage, because you know, often when we start to see, oh gosh, it's happening, there can be moments of panic, there can be moments of like, oh my gosh, am I ready? Oh, pole number 4, you are ready. And I feel, even if you are afraid, even if there are feelings of uncertainty, second guessing yourself, insecurities, because sometimes we fight others when we are insecure, Spirit saying, no, you have the strength, you have the courage, you have learnt so much. Stand in your power. Earth and Spirit are aligning. You have aligned with them. You've aligned with all that you can see and with all that you can't see. And you're walking a path, embracing both the tangible, organic reality that we live in, as well as the spiritual, the mystery of it all. And when we can align those, oh my goodness, we open ourselves up to so much more of what's there, to so much more of what's possible. I feel, pole number 4, that you're starting to see that you are so much more than this, you know, flesh and bones and mind. It's beautiful. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Love and light. Thank you again so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.